Hello, Spider Army, and this is something new I tried, and yeah, I don't really like it. Oh well. This is Mercury is a land of contrasts. From scorching temperatures on the day side, hot enough to melt lead, to frigid temperatures on the other, and in darkness. From an orbit so strange it has the highest eccentricity of any planet, yet without any tilt in its axis. From the dry, baked surface to caves of ice, life, and humans beneath. This is Mercury. Full of exotic cuisine and pristine wilderness, Mercury is the place to be. Okay, now with the intro out of the way. Okay, so this is explaining the colony. So, by the way, this is the colony and credit pack from Spore, and that's another game I'll be doing sometime soon. Maybe. Yeah, I will. I might even do that tomorrow, but okay. So, the colonies on Mercury are in the craters in the poles because there's a lot of ice there. And when human, or was it machine explorers first found, most likely machine because it was found long ago, first found the ice, they thought that it could be a suitable colony because if ice can be preserved down there, then it is at sufficient temperatures. The only problem is simply building a shell. The shell doesn't have to be extremely repellent of heat or radiation if ice can be preserved down there. And Mercury is, the people of Mercury worship the Muses from Greek mythology. There are 9 of them, so Mercury is divided into 9 sections. I don't actually remember all the sections, but I remember Talia was the North Pole, and what was the other one's name? Tragedy. I don't remember. Was the South Pole, and then there were other regions. I don't remember. I don't. Okay. Then there's economy, and this is the economy servers in Minecraft where like you can be like a miner or a lumberjack or a mob slayer, whatever. So the economy of Mercury consists of the solar power, because you know how the moon has mountains of they're called peaks of eternal light, where like there's always daylight on them on certain points. Well, humans eventually constructed towers that had extremely wide bases, like flowers coming from it, at these particular points that they detected, absorbing immense amounts of solar light. Mercury also has stores of helium-3, iron, and other minerals that are mined, hence Minecraft. But also, since a lot of interstellar travel nowadays is done by teleportation, and the beacon that's used for this is the sun, often the receptors are on Mercury, which makes it a trade center, the gateway to the rest of the solar system, essentially. So, despite its despite its low flora and floral and fauna wealth of biodiversity, it still developed a great economic base with it. Even though its agriculture is only designed to feed its own people. And energy on Mercury, as I said, it's from solar power and the helium-3. The thing about the thing about this is, since iron is so important to Mercury's economy, and by the way, this is ball lightning from Earth. This is it takes too long to explain. But the point is that some scientists are thinking of an idea that they can make a synthesizer that completely replicates a blue star's process, turning the helium-3 directly to iron. This would both provide iron to sell and also provide energy at the exact same time. So so that could be a revolutionary change if it is completed, but it is but if it is, it's going to take a very long time. The government of Mercury is based on the craft guilds because originally, and this should be labeled history because that's what I'm actually mostly describing right now, is that it was made by it was controlled by guilds of artisans who eventually developed into a system similar to medieval where there are apprentices who follow master without pay, but they receive education for it and they help for helping the master. And then there's journeymen who eventually leave to develop their own sources, and then the masters who control entire biomes on Mercury in the craters, and they eat meat in the Council of Mercury to decide on its laws and power. So that's the mining and necessary, pretty much necessary practical nice is usually handled by like drudgery, like mining or collection of the energy. Solar power itself is left to machines. So yeah, this is a far more efficient method because several machines can be going out doing several different things in many different places, but they can only require the maintenance of a single person. So that has greatly increased its mining efficiency, but this may actually become a problem if the resources are overused, because after there's no more helium-3, well, what are they going to do? Transport. Now, given that Mercury has never been terraformed and likely never will, and I don't think it's actually possible, transport is required by teleportation. By the way, as you can probably guess, this is Portal, but the point is, obviously that's not how teleportation works. What happens is, it's essentially like a three-dimensional fax machine. You step into a disintegrator and that's it. The information is used to create someone else who isn't really you, but okay. That's only my way of looking at it. I guess you could say there's continuity of consciousness. But I still believe the definition of you is based on your body rather than your consciousness. So that's a question of philosophy. But the point is, transport to and from Mercury was very difficult in the ancient ages because it is in the sun's gravity well. So while you could use the gravity assist of different objects like the moon to get to Venus or Mars, this would be impossible in Mercury because you'd just get eaten by the sun and burned alive. So the way to actually get there is by beaming energy. But the problem with this is that since it's often very difficult to calibrate times, this makes actually getting to Mercury from anywhere else a long and arduous process, which essentially means there's very little influx of goods through that well, influx of goods? What? No. Goods are still sent, but because of this, they're beamed in extremely large quantities, and people are generally do not go from Mercury to other planets in the solar system, except by means of actual spaceships that go between the planets. But most people do not have enough money to actually afford to fly these things, and a greater form of transport is actually from star to star. And as I've said, the fact that it's in the sun's gravity well makes it essentially a very important way to do this, because around the sun, obviously you can't build a synthesizer detecting energy on the sun. So, unless you build a Dyson sphere, and building a Dyson sphere around the sun has generally been would be an affront to all the people of the solar system. So instead, the sensors are lined in a ring around the sun, and they are only maintained when they're actually put in near the orbit of Mercury, and they're made to actually land on Mercury at regular intervals for machines to operate them. And the resources such as the iron and helium-3 are transported because machines are very sensitive to radiation. They also rely on solar power. They have to be at very sensitive places, which is essentially in the sun's terminator zone between the base, which is essentially they have to constantly be in a state of twilight. So, yeah, that makes the transport somewhat difficult as well. So, there you have it. This has been an overview of the planet of Mercury. If you thought this wasn't as good as some videos, well, I don't really see what's wrong with this. It's more that it's shorter than most because I essentially do not have very much time on my hands today. Like, I've been planning for some other videos for most of the day. So if you did indeed like this, then like, comment, subscribe, and say what I should do next, what I should talk about next. Like, you could say to talk about another planet's historical and geographical human geography information, but you could also say I should talk about something else. So and also tell me what I should build in my Empire Craft, what you'd like to see me build in my Empire Craft world. So yeah, I'll probably be featured in that video. So thanks for watching. My name's been King Cadmos, and thanks for all the fish.